you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. So today I've got the 4 free tactics for you. I know we did 4-4-2 yesterday, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. So we've actually gone ahead and done a different one for you. It has changed out of the formation that I was in, but I personally do like the 4-3-3 fourth variation. I have a cam, 2 centre mids, my right wing, left wing, and striker. And what I do find with this formation is good if you've got the wingers for it. If they're very competent wingers, you can get away with having just one striker. The only reason why I normally stay with a 4-4-2 to begin with is just because it's a very balanced formation. You've got 2 people up front, and then you've got your wingers that will kind of help in the meantime, and your 2 centre mids will kind of just stay back. With the 4-3-3, with all of the different player roles that we've got now, with and without the ball, it adds just that extra little bit of flair to it. We'll also have a look at a 5-back and a 3-back to see if there's any really broken mechanics there. But this is the 4-3-3 team I'm using at the moment, trying to get Neymar on as much chem as possible, but it's very difficult with very limited supplies at the moment until we really get into some SBCs. So if you go over to team management, we'll run them through. I've made a brand new team so that I can do this together with you, so I can show you exactly what I do and I don't miss out anything. So we are going to go in the custom. The 4-3-3 attack is what I'm going for here. And then obviously the build-up style, I'll always choose basic balance. It's normally the best in my opinion. Personally, the counter can be done in a very good attacking way. So if you've got, for instance, and a goal down last minute, maybe you want to go for it, you've kind of got your press on, your build up, you want to literally just hit them with everything. The short passing, again, I'm not the biggest possession holder, so that is going to be really good for pro players, somebody who's very good at just holding the ball, because they're always going to be looking for passes, they're always going to be looking to spread the width. That's going to be a decent if you are very good at holding the possession really well. I like the balance personally, it's just a very easy one to get used to. And then the defensive approach is going to be the same. Personally, for this one, I've tried to keep it down a little bit and go down to 35, just because it just adds that little bit extra of depth to it, because we have got almost like a 6-back and a 4 attack. That's kind of how I use my 4-3-3 personally. So we will go through that as normal. So obviously we've got the 2 different ones here. At the moment, we've not changed any roles on this one. So we'll go through it with you now. So when I'm going with the ball, I like to go with this one first. This one is my personal favorite to kind of grow with. Obviously Pickford's my best goalkeeper at the moment. Sweeper keeper's decent. As always, we said this yesterday. I like the sweeper keeper, but I always go with the plus on this one. It's very much like a chemistry style. You just keep basic if it's good enough. With obviously the goalkeeper plus on Pickford, that's going to be better than going for the sweeper. We then have our fullbacks in this formation. Personally for me, I will normally like to keep these standard. If I was to get someone like an Alfonso, a Frimpong, a Ferland Mendy that can burst through, for instance, Ake is not going to do that. If I was to choose one to do this, I would go fullback for Ake, because he's going to be much more stable in that back line. And then I would have Loriente as my wing back in this one. Now with him, he's got no pluses anywhere, so it's a bit unfortunate. And he is going to be one of them Evo players later on down the line, just like last year, 100%. So he's going to go into that wing back role for me. So then I've got the fullback going on the left hand side staying back, and the right hand side I've got him pushing up with Yamal. Then I've got my 2 defenders. We've got Militao from a loan pack. So I thought, you know what, we got to give him a go. I think I've got like 3 or 4 days left with him, unlimited matches. So I thought, you know what, we've got to give him a go to see if he's worth actually buying in the game. With him, he's got a plus on ball playing defender and stopper, and then normal defending. So very similar to the 2 defense yesterday. He's going to be my ball line defender, and then Carragher is going to be my defender plus plus. what I find with especially a fullback, it's good to have one of one of the other. And obviously playstyle pluses will come into a massive factor of this later on in the game once everybody starts getting them. But at the moment, we're just going with the bog standard ball playing defender, with the ball this is, and a defender. We then move into the midfield, because now we've got a free midfield, it makes it a little bit more different. So again, with this, we've got Bruno Guimaraes, and we've also got Moreno. Both of them very similar in aspects, to be honest. I probably would prefer to go for more of a CDM in this if I can, but I am going to go with Guimaraes as more of my holding defender, and then Moreno as kind of like a box-to-box, but more heavy on the defense. So what I will do with this is I will change Guimaraes into that, it's the holding defender. So he will be that CDM for me. He's going to do it really well. Obviously, when it comes to pace, he's got enough, but it's definitely not incredible for him. So we'll have almost the holding DM who's going to take the tackles and the interceptions. And then we've got the box-to-box, who is that option. That person who's going to drive the ball forward just to about halfway line, maybe a little bit more on. And then we've got the 4 up front. With Paqueta, very good on the ball, which is nice, and he is going to be my playmaker plus. Now, obviously, you have got half winger, you've got shadow striker. For me, a Cam is going to be really good as that playmaker. Bruno Fernandes is going to be good at it. Kevin De Bruyne, even imagine Foden should be able to slot into that role if he doesn't have already that Cam role available. We then have my 2 wingers. These are going to be exactly the same as yesterday, because Neymar is very good at being a winger, but I do prefer him as that wide playmaker. I think he just owns it so much more in my opinion. And then we'll have Yamal as the winger. So we've kind of got the lovely side. So for instance, we've got Ake as the fullback who's going to stay back. Neymar is going to be great on the ball, giving the passes off, trying to set in Nunez, trying to set in Yamal down the box. And then obviously Moreno and Paqueta are going to be in the middle. And then we'll also have an overlap from Llorente. Now the right hand side is going to be that. We're going to have Yamal running forward, bombing through. Llorente giving him a bit of backup. We'll then kind of sit with a free back in Carragher, Militao and Ake. And then Guimaraes is going to be holding as well. But then once we get off the ball, Llorente is going to come back quick time, hopefully. And then when it comes to Nunez now only having 1 attack, we've got to think of it right. And I think for me, the poacher's decent, and I think that is going to be a really good one with a plus. But I think the advance forward for me is going to be better, because he's going to have that passing option, which means he can bring in Yamal, he can bring in Neymar as much as possible, but then he has that attacking to push forward as well. So for me, I think that's going to be perfect. And I know the weakness on this one is limited width. That is on design, because obviously if I've got Neymar coming from the left, he's going to be the playmaker on the ball. Yamal's bombing forward. I don't need him to have width. That's the whole point of the wingers, to have that, and he's going to be direct in the middle, and I think that's what Nunez does really, really well. Then we have got without ball. So this one is going to be slightly different, but it's going to be very similar in that aspect as well. I believe somebody said when I changed the fullback roles, it does change them both here. So that's very interesting, because yesterday I thought it does change the position of them, but I thought you'd be able to change the roles, to be honest. So even so, it's still going to be very similar, and it is going to work in the same way. That's how you utilize the attack, because that's how you want the defense to go as well. It's a shame that you can't have like a positioning role in this for without the ball. So it does make sense. Obviously, as you can see, you've got the with and without ball. The positions do change, but like we've just seen, the actual kind of player here is not going to, so it's just an attacking position. So if I go in a fullback, he's not moved as a defender, he's just moved as the attacker with the ball. So that's absolutely fine, and this is where you kind of have to almost descript how it's going to work, because obviously in the defensive side, we go back into that 4, we bring Guimaraes into the middle, Moreno's kind of chilling, coming back a little bit to make the 6, then we've obviously got Paqueta who's going to be chilling just a little bit forward on from them, and then we've got the wingers hopefully coming back slightly, and then they're going to be there ready to be the outlet, and then obviously Nunez being the advance forward should push on that counter really well. So I think for me, that would be a great position to have in terms of a 4-3-3. When it comes to the actual code of this, it is at the top there. If you can see, I know a lot of people said they didn't have the code. it's right at the top if you want to use that. If you want to import it, you've obviously got to use the code and utilize that. What I'll do is I'll leave it in the first line of the description so everybody can see it, so I don't have to comment it. So that is going to be there. When it comes to the assignments, personally for me, I'll just probably have Neymar on a lot of them. But when it comes to left corner and right corner, I normally try and go for instance, a right footer on the left and then a left footer on the right. It just adds that little bit of swinging, but I must admit, Ake's not going to be the greatest on there. I'd be kind of good if Paqueta does have that left foot, which would be nice, and then pretty much everybody else is going to be decent in their positions. So that's everything for the 4-3-3. Let me know down below if you've got a good formation that I need to try out. Have you tried a 5-back or a 3-back yet? Have they been successful? But apart from that, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.